fight for pride or glory? Do you hold your scars close to your heart? Or behind, hey, who will live to tell your story? You were taught to leave no man behind.
All right. Well, it is the very first episode of the podcast. We've been trying to get this going for a while now, and we're finally getting it going with technical difficulties, but it's working, and it's super important to us to get this podcast going because we really feel that the mental health struggle amongst masculine, like hyper-masculine men is something that's undervalued. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to deal with it. And it's something that is taking more lives than fucking any other epidemic. So I'm here with co-host Chase Sherman. Chase, you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Chase Sherman, former college football player, former firefighter, former UFC, MMA fighter, and currently free agent, I guess you could say. Just had a fight yesterday.
Badass fucking fight, too. The most violent show on earth.
It is.
It is the most violent show on earth.
Yeah, it's.
You fucking almost killed that.
It would have been completely within my rights if I did.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because yesterday before the fight, we were actually having a conversation because Chase was in his head a lot, and it was just a culmination of a lot of things, right? And he can touch on that if he wants to, but we sat there and we talked for about an hour about everything that was going on. And usually when fighters are getting ready for a fight, they're stressed out about the fight, but he was more so stressed out about everything else outside of the fight that was actually taking toll on his mental health. And then when he walked in that ring and he was laying into this dude, you could see the pain, the anguish, just everything that he was dealing with, just laying into this motherfucker. And he's lucky to have that outlet too, because a lot of guys don't have that outlet to fucking let out everything that they're fucking dealing with and like purge themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, what got you into fighting when they asked me that? And I was just like, I got done playing football and I was like, I can't go sit behind a desk. There's just no way. I needed that outlet. You know what I mean? And especially when I was in my younger 20s, I was just full of piss and vinegar. You know what I'm saying? And I needed that because, I mean, if I didn't have it, then it was going to come out in uglier ways. You know what I'm saying? And so I needed that raw form of competition, and I needed to have a way to release a lot of the issues that I was dealing with internally.
Yeah.
And so, and it also helped humble me a lot too, in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Because I had that outlet, it really made me have a different approach, outlook, as far as dealing with people in general. Because you get, you know what I mean? You get humbled every day in the gym.
Yeah.
And then also, when I started fighting, man, it's like, I don't want people to think like I'm just some violent person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want, you know what I mean? It made me approach people a lot more kindly and shrug a lot of different things off, like my shoulders, whereas before I had fighting, I would always feel like I had to prove myself to somebody. Yeah. And so, yeah, man, fighting really kind of saved me in a lot of ways.
Well, it's because it's the most primal nature in mankind is war, right? Especially masculinity in men. That's our number one primal nature is war. And the other part of it, which we'll get to later, is like tribalism, like having your tribe, you know? So like, it's the same thing in the military. When you have a fucking fire team, you got a team and you're operating and you're doing fucking high level shit. You have a purpose. You have all these things that men crave, just like fighting. And then one day that shit has to come to an end. And then what? You have no more purpose. You have no more fucking drive. And then that's where a lot of guys get lost. Like a lot of guys, when they get out of the fucking military, they're so fucked up, not because of a portion of it's because of what they've seen and what they've done, but a lot of it is they don't have a purpose anymore. There's nothing for them to do. They feel like they're just stagnant and they can't get along. Like in the fight world, you can't get along with normal. If you tried to go work a normal job, they'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, because I just look at everybody else that I know is like takes like I'm the type of person like you like I'm respectful towards you and you be respectful towards me. I'm kind to you. We're kind to each other, and I just can't understand I never was one to understand this like the culture or this whole like idea of like other people like holding power over others or talking to them in a certain way without respect or talking to them, you know what I mean? And other people, and people just are okay with it. And so that's what I mean. Like I couldn't go work a normal job. Like I can't have people fucking, you know what I mean, talking to me the way they think they could talk to me and me just supposed to road. Like it just didn't sit well with me. So that's why I had to take up fighting. And you live in a world in a culture where society is like people love to run their mouths and and then call the cops. And so it's just like, I need to get away from this and get into fighting and learn to like, you know, discipline my emotions and humble myself and really get all the anger and shit out of me. You know what I mean? Have an outlet.
Well, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is coming from like an abusive childhood background. Like I know you did, I did. The problem with that is that we're not responsible for the programming that we received as children, but we are responsible as adults for changing that programming. But if you don't know how to change that programming and you don't have an outlet, what happens? You end up on fucking drugs, strung out, in prison, doing some wacko shit. Because I was there. I was strung out on drugs for a while because it numbed everything. It made everything go away. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that childhood trauma leads into young adult trauma, which then leads into adult trauma. It leads into relationship traumas. And the problem is that nobody's going to fucking sit there and talk about it. Yeah. You know?
Because we live in a society where if you talk about mental health, it's looked at as almost taboo.
It is taboo.
You know, you're
weak.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But just not just that is like, you're talking about mental health, and like as soon as you say something about it, it's like people will start to be like, "Oh, this person's fucking crazy."
Yeah,
stay away from this person. They're cuckoo. They're on, and that's why so many people are so scared to talk about any kind of ideas that might conflict the general masses and the brainwashing that's going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you know you're a conspiracist or you're this person's crazy because they might think this way, or you know what I mean? Like being an independent thinker. You know what I mean? You're fucking nuts. You know what I mean? If you don't think like everybody else does, or if you don't feel like everybody else does, or if you don't say the things that everybody else does, then you're crazy. And then, you know, you got mental health issues or whatever the case may be. It's a real, you know what I mean? It's like one of those, it's just like addiction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when drug addicts are going through addiction, like they want to get help. They want to reach out, but at the same time, them reaching out puts a label on them that is like this judgment from society. Like the reason that they're most likely addicts is they already feel an immense amount of shame.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Pain.
In themselves, you know? And so it's like, you mean to tell me like I'm going to have to go get help and all these people are going to know about this and they're going to judge me and they're going to, you know, so a lot of people aren't speaking up on mental health, man, and they're just suppressing it and hiding it behind closed doors. And I think our objective here is to shed a little bit more light on that, and people can understand that, like, hey, these guys that, get punched in the face for a living and shot at for a living, and ride motorcycles like fucking hoodlums, for, like do all these, you know what I mean, extreme kind of hyper masculine things, are stepping up in the public eye and trying to make it aware of this kind of epidemic that's going on, especially in men.
It is. And I see it day in and day out. And since we posted this podcast, I've had so many guys reach out to me that wouldn't normally reach out to me. That wouldn't be like, hey man, I love what you're doing. I can't wait to tune in because, it might have a nugget for me. And, like my background being the Marine Corps, special operations, I was a fucking sergeant at arms and the president of a major 1% motorcycle club for a long time. Like, in and out of gangs, in and out of jail, shot, blown up, stabbed, fucking had my house blown, everything that you could imagine, right? I am the number one person, just like you, coming from the UFC, coming from fucking bare knuckle MMA. We are the two people that people would be like, there's no way they're going to talk about their feelings. There's no way they're going to talk about how they're feeling and the traumas that they went through. And that's why it's so important, because I want everybody out there to know that you can fucking talk about it. You can reach out to either one of us anytime on Instagram, whatever, because we believe in this. And if you have questions that you want answered, we'll try our best to answer them, because I know Chase is super into the mind, the body, the spirit, you know, and I have a little bit of a different background, taking more of a tactile approach within guiding in life. So, you know, I just feel that the warrior spirit is also being suppressed by the media, by the left wing. And I'm not left wing or right wing or anything, but the left wing just seems to be more like, oh, men are this or men are that or whatever.
Yeah, definitely an approach there that's trying to bring more shame into to men just wanting to feel like men and be men and you know what I mean? Emasculate. Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's crazy, and it's and really the like it's scary when I think about the world that my sons could potentially end up living in. And I just don't know if it would sit well with me, knowing that this is what I left them. You know, this is what we live, or this is the society we're handing over to our children and our grandchildren, and like men need to step the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, in this country, and take back what's ours, and that's just the God-given right to be a man and not feel ashamed for it, and raise our kids how we see fit, not how everybody else sees fit, and eat what we want to fucking eat, and like and
punch who we want to fucking punch.
Yeah, and yeah, who deserves it? You know, I mean, whatever, and you know, do these things that resonates with our spirit, and not feel ashamed about it. I'm not talking about going out there and I'm not talking about like toxic masculinity, which is this shit where you like covering up these insecurities that you have because you have suppressed all this shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're ashamed to talk about it. And you know what I mean? Like, not that. I'm talking about like what it means to be an actual masculine man. You know what I mean? To be a protector, to be a provider, to give respect and demand respect. You know what I mean?
Not only in the streets, but also with your fucking relationships, your friendships, your old lady, your kids.
Yeah. Have integrity.
Yeah.
You know, do the things that you say you're going to do.
I think one of the basis of our friendship, one of the pillars of our friendship is trauma and like what we're going through. And we're not afraid to open that up. And that's something that else is extremely important in masculinity and manhood, is surrounding yourself with other men that hold each other accountable, that aren't trying to show you or tell you how to act. They let you act how you want, and you can feed off each other. You bring shit to the table that I don't. I bring shit to the table that you don't. You know, Tom, Bryce. But as a collective, we're all helping each other. We're supporting each other's families. You know, your kids are my kids are your kids. Yeah. That's a tribe, back to that tribal mentality. Yeah. And people don't want that.
Well, that's because what the culture and society is trying to do, man, is been shoved down our throats, is being independent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to make my own money. I need to do this and do that. I need to, you know what I mean? Like, I need to have my own cars. I need to pay my own bills. And you see that a lot, especially that's, you know what I mean, in the female cultures, like really kind of shoved in people's faces, like through the media and like, you know, music and all this stuff. And it's like, but by nature, we're not meant to be independent. We're codependent. We're codependent freaking animals. You know what I mean? By nature, you know what I mean? We are codependent. We're supposed to, like, you will. We're supposed to be, you know, in a tribe and in our clans, and that's how it always was. And it's like life is so much easier that way. I don't understand it. It's like, it's, you know what I mean? Why would you not want to have people you can lean on and talk to and pick, you know what I mean? Pick you up when you're down, or whatever the case may be, or try to achieve some, you know, really huge goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have like for me is like, I'm not going to be able to achieve the things I want to achieve in this life without a group of people that have the same vision. It's just not going to happen because I'm looking to change like an entire culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking like my aspirations are fucking way up here. You know what I mean? Like because like I said, this isn't where I want to. The world I want to leave with my kids and my grandkids. You know what I mean? It's scary.
Well, not only that, but the problem is you've experienced this. I've experienced this all over the place. Is that when you do think that you have a tribe, the problem is that there's so many men these days that they want to be a part of your group, but they want something from you. Or if you have aspirations, you come tell me, Ricky, I'm going to fucking do this. I'm going to make this much money and blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh yeah, do that. But they're sitting there scheming and plotting how they're going to take your fucking shit. Same thing on this side. The higher you go in the food chain, the more people are going to grovel at you, but not because they want to help you, not because they want to fucking take care of you, but because they want what you have, or they want that fucking good. And that's another problem. And that's some bitch ass shit. Because if my dog is fucking shooting for the fucking stars, I don't want him to shoot for the stars for me. I want it because I want to watch him fucking do well. Because if I eat, you eat. If you eat, we all fucking eat. You know, and that's a problem, is that there's so many bitch ass motherfuckers these days that sit back and they just scheme. They scheme on your girl. They scheme on your career. They scheme on your fucking, on your purse. They scheme on shit.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it is what it is, man. And you just gotta have enough wisdom and experience and deal with the shit, because we both obviously have, and wisdom only comes from experience. And so, like, you know, that just tells me we're always been like trusting people, you know what I'm saying? Letting the wrong people into our lives, giving them a chance, and then, you know what I mean? People manipulate you. They take advantage of you. They're going to use you, and eventually karma will get them. But, you know, it's just like, it sucks that's how it has to be, you know what I mean? And I forget the point I was making right here. So I'm just kind of stolen still. But yeah, man, people are always constantly trying to manipulate you and get a number out on you, man. And yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, it sucks that it's like that, man, because especially when all you've ever been is just real. You know how to be real is just, you know, say, you know, how you feel, and, you know, trust people and do all this. And like, that's caused me almost like 80% of the fucking problems I've ran into right now in my life is trusting the wrong people, telling the wrong people the wrong things. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Loaning money, you let them, yeah, you know what I mean? And like thinking they're your friend, man. And because when you're the type of person that would never even think about doing shit like that to another person, it doesn't cross your mind thinking that they would do it to you, because you like, I'm not perfect, bro. Like, by no means. Like, I've done wrong. I've fucking said things that have fucking hurt people. I've stolen. I've committed acts of violence. You know, I've done. You know what I mean? I'm human. But one thing I've never done is intentionally try to manipulate somebody into getting something from them, or hurting them, or using something against them, or whatever. I've never like tried to alter my character in order to like psychologically or hurt somebody or manipulate somebody.
Because that's fucking beta male shit. That's bitch shit. You know, just like fucking when we talk about relationships, the one point I want to make is all you fucking men out there that think it's cool. If you have a good old lady that takes care of you, your job isn't to go around and see what next thing you can fuck. Your job is to take care of her emotions, her fucking body, her soul. You're the king of your home. That's the queen of your home. That's what I'm tired of seeing, is dudes with like good asshole ladies that are fucking out here lying and cheating and doing all this, and they're naive at home cooking and making the, you know, taking care of the kids and shit. That's some bitch ass fucking shit. You know, and I'm not perfect. I've cheated many times, but I've never cheated on somebody I've genuinely loved, that I consider myself the provider for, that I take care of, because that's just some bitch ass shit. And guess what? It's like, oh, fuck yeah, bro, you're getting pussy, you're doing this. Mm-hmm. If that's your girlfriend, cool. If that's your motherfucking, like, your wife that's holding it down, you know, I'm gonna speak the fuck up. And that's what men need to do these days. Whether it's your boy, whether it's somebody you know, whether it's your friend's boy, speak speak the fuck up, because if we don't hold each other accountable, nobody is.
Yeah, and you gotta stop fucking around with other people's fucking old ladies as well. Like, yeah, don't like and thinking and like, you know what I mean? Think like that's
You will get caught.
yeah, and like that's it's like, bro, like girls try not. They're more tribal when it comes. Females are like, you know what I mean? Like they look out for each other a lot more than men do.
Oh yeah.
Because men are just like want to step on each other and claw on each other just to get to the next piece of ass or get the next fucking dollar or next, you know what I mean? They're always trying to fucking conquer something and take over something. And whereas women are like, oh, they find out you fucking have a girl, like they're going to tell her. You know what I'm saying? They're going to, because like girls, but guys, like they don't give a fuck. Your homeboys will be fucking your girl, bro, and ain't a soul will ever find out because he ain't gonna tell nobody. And ain't nobody gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, say shit. If you know what I mean? Like, it's just, but girls, like, it's the other way around. Like, females, the other way around. You know what I mean? Like, but men need to be like that more. You know what I'm saying?
I had a problem with womanizing too. And I think a lot of it had to do with my upbringing. I always wanted that love. I craved that love. I never got the love that I wanted as a kid. So as I got, especially from like my mom. So the older I got, the more I was already fucked up and I didn't know what love was and I didn't know what caring is and I didn't know what all that shit is. So I was like trying to find that in every single woman I could fucking find. Right. And it was unhealthy. And it wasn't until I realized that the basis of this problem is because I need to love myself before I'm going to find anybody that loves me. Because if I don't love myself, how the fuck am I going to know if this person loves me? Because I don't even know what they're loving.
Yeah, or you become dependent upon their love. Yeah. Like then that what happens is like you start controlling every aspect of that relationship in their life because you're so fearful of them leaving or losing it. You know what I mean? And all you're doing is just driving it into the ground. Like if you don't have self-love, man, you ain't gonna have self-respect. You ain't gonna have none of that shit. And
self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem, confidence.
Like, texting.
It's going all
on the phone with where you going.
Yep, and all that shit's gonna be dependent upon how other people treat you. And whenever they stop treating you that way, then you feel like a worthless piece of shit. Like it's like, and you know what I mean? And people don't want to be around people that are like feel that someone are needy. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been around like person that's just like, hey, like fucking like yeah, like you know, or just a friend. Even that's like, you know what I mean? The guy that's like, hey man, did you invite Bob to the party? Nobody wants to hang out with Bob because Bob's like. I was like, hey guys, you need this, you want this, you want this. You know, like he's just searching for love and friendship out of any person to get it. And everybody's just like,
fuck off, Bob.
Yeah, just chill, man. Like, because you know, like if you start a conversation with this guy, you're going to be stuck in a fucking corner with him forever, hearing his life story.
And if he gets drunk, you're going to be crying.
And he's going to fucking end up following you to your house and like... stalking you, but it's just like, you know, have self-love, man, so you don't feel like the need to depend upon love from other people because that's not always going to be there. You know what I mean?
What's the biggest out of like all the trauma and the shit you've been through in your life? What is the number one like revolving factor that is the nature or the basis of your trauma? Like I could tell you, mine is abandonment and trust.
Yeah.
Which has created a fuck ton of problems.
Man, if I had to think about it, I think it was just a lack of, I felt lack of unconditional love. Like I felt like when the home I grew up in, like if we weren't, you know what I mean, earning the love through, you know,
by
working,
their standards.
Yeah, exactly. Like making sure the house is fucking clean when they came home, making sure the yard's, making sure all this. I'm not just talking about like just normal chores and shit, but you know, it goes way beyond that. I'm not really going to dive into that right now, but like, you know, that kind of the lack of unconditional love and lack of, feeling safe, man. Like it's just every turn of corner, fucking did something wrong, you're just getting your fucking
head knocked in,
or it was just chaotic a lot of times, man, and it just, you know what I mean. So I feel like throughout life, I was constantly always doing these acts of service in order to receive love from people, kind of just like what we was talking about.
Yeah. And then you get those people that take advantage of it.
Exactly. And so, and so you also end up like with your circle being, a shit ton of fucking friends that you think's your friends. You know what I mean? But as soon as you can't do anything for them anymore, they stop hollering at you. As soon as you're the one that sits on the phone and says, "I'm gonna see who's gonna give me a shout." You know what I mean? Check on me. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker don't ring. Like when I moved to Florida, bro, I got a call from maybe one or two fucking people. Yeah. See how you doing? And I'm like, damn, man, like these are people I've been knowing my whole fucking life, and like nobody checking on me and shit. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody, not even one person's come to fucking see me the whole time I've been down there. You know what I mean? Not even family. You know, and besides my brother, you know,
yeah,
and my son, but it's just you find out real quick, man, and really and truthfully, what the God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's trying to show you and tell you through that process is that not everybody nobody's responsible either for having to call you or show you. You know what I mean? This is everybody's got their shit they're going through too. You know what I mean? So for you to feel like you are dependent upon that and this and that, it's like you gotta you a rude awakening.
But there's still also there is also that duty as a friend, as a brother, as a whatever. Even though we all got shit going on in our life, there's still a duty to check on our fucking people. You know what I mean? And not just
the ones that I found out that were there, those are the ones that did.
Right.
And so I found out real quick that like, hey, these people aren't for you, bro. You know what I mean? And so me feeling like I was going to rely on all these people I showed so much love to fucking pick up the phone, call me, check on me, see how I was doing, or come see me, or whatever the case may be. That's on me. Yeah. Because I didn't have enough self-love for myself, and I went and recruited the wrong motherfuckers to be in my circle.
But you know what the great thing about that, and that's one of the best lessons I ever learned, was through all of that tragedy comes a beautiful thing, right? At the lowest, out of all the shit that I went through these past fucking 6 months, some heavy ass shit, all of that led up to buying the house of my dreams, fucking having fucking our friendship, having all of these things come in. And then when you go through those hardships, you go through those trials and tribulations, you go through that pain, and you finally get somebody or something or in your life, it means and it feels that much greater. It's like a blessing. And you're not going to realize who a shitty friend is until they're shitty.
I think it's important people know about the podcast that we're trying to do. Like, this isn't supposed to be a poor, pitiful me podcast, a victim mentality type of podcast, you know what I mean? All negative, kind of sappy shit thing podcast where people get on here and tell sad stories. You know what I mean? I'm like this. I definitely want this to be something that brings inspiration towards people, and people can get on there and tell their stories of the adversity that they've had to overcome and how it's built them and built their character. And
maybe that touches somebody else that they can relate.
Yeah, that's going through something similar. You know what I'm saying? And whenever I seen Tyson Fury speaking out on men's mental health and telling his story about, how he went through everything that he went through and fought his way back to get to the top, I was like, damn, man, that's cool that you have somebody that is a heavyweight champion of the world, an undefeated boxer, just all around badass, talking about the shit he's had to go through. Yeah. And it made me feel like there was like, well, shit, maybe I can talk about my fucking problems too. And people would say, you know what I mean? And so, but the point is like this, the podcast is supposed to, like, we're going to have some fucking cool, badass guests on here, man. We're going to be telling some cool ass stories. We're going to laugh a little bit. We're going to get a little emotional, whatever, man. But this is going to be like something that people, especially men, can watch and just feel like they can relate to it and understand how to overcome anything that they may be going through. And maybe we can have even live calls come in and questions, somehow do.
Yeah, we'll do that. We could do some lives and we can have people put in their input. And then after every episode, down in the comments, I want people to have tips for next episode, what they want to touch on, what they want to know, advice, or how you or I got through certain problems. Because that was one thing that I wish I had when I was in my younger adult years was, You know, when my best friend Chris was killed in Afghanistan, I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have anybody to ask, how do I do this? How do I navigate life? How do I navigate having no purpose anymore? How do I navigate wanting to stay in the Marine Corps and they won't let me because I'm fucking injured and they're trying to push out all the fucking war dogs. And now I have to pretend like I fucking blend in with the civilian life. You go from combat, you get fucked up, you medically retire, and you're spit out in the world, and all you know is how to fucking kill and murk bodies. Now I'm like, okay, well, on a job application, like on your resume, like what is your skills? Murking bitches?
I can't go. You can't. I don't. There's no. You can't go work a normal job, bro. It's like, he's like, that's where you have to like really be like an entrepreneur. I'm just gonna have to work for my fucking self.
And that's why I did what I did, dude. I went to college and did the whole thing. Got my fucking bachelor's. Went to fucking grad school. Started working in professional sports and realized really fucking quick working for the Buccaneers and the NHL that shit ain't for me. And I love motorcycles, so I started fucking building motorcycles, and that was really my therapy. That was what calmed me. And in the beginning, that was what really kept me sober, because I was spending so much time that I wasn't thinking about getting high. And then I was like, oh, fuck, I can do this. But motorcycles fucking changed my life.
You were completely delved into the moment, the present. You're mindful. Yeah. Well, you look at monks, you know what I mean? Like, in people that live that sort of like, what do they do all day in the monasteries? They do martial arts. They meditate and they clean diligently. They're always, and like when they clean, they're very meticulous, because they are very in the moment. They're not trying to rush through anything. You get to the end. It's teaching them to be present in the moment, even though their brain and they want to be completely somewhere else, somewhere doing something. It's like, no, you're gonna sit here and you're going to do this. And when your mind begins to wander, you're going to bring it right back. Just like with reading and meditating in general, just like a mindful practice, it rewires all those neural pathways so you can be present. So that's why you end up enjoying like motorcycles. Building motorcycles is my peace. Fighting is my peace, because I'm not thinking about any fucking thing else when I'm in that cage. I can't. You know what I mean? And in that moment, there's freedom in the chaos.
It is, and that's the same thing with the combat situation. Before you step out on an operation, your nerves are worked. You're like, fuck, man, I don't know. I have to perform my job because these guys rely on me. I rely on them. And if one person fucks up, one small mistake after our training, somebody's dying. We're not going home. I have to go fucking visit somebody's wife and kid and tell them why their fucking daddy ain't coming home because I fucked up. But the second you touch down on target, it all goes away. Just like all your stresses yesterday. The second you stepped in that ring, it was gone. Now it's just a fucking task at hand. And a lot of people have asked me like, oh, I don't know how you did what you did going to war. I'm like, war was easier than trying to go through everyday life, bro.
Yeah.
Like I didn't worry about bills. I didn't worry about my relationships. I didn't worry about anything else except for the primal instincts we have, which is staying alive and killing those that are trying to kill you. That's it. And when you don't have that anymore, the outside world's overwhelming, just like guys getting out of fucking prison. Their job in prison is to they got chow, they got a set every day. Same thing. When they get out, something as simple as going to an Arby's, their first meal, they're overwhelmed because they have so many options. They have so many things they can choose from. Bro, it's horrible. So, but anyways, we're going to sign off here. This is just the intro to what we're doing. Again, I want to send home the point that what we're trying to do is not a fucking pity party or woe is me. This is us, two men that have fucking lived a life of war and in the most horrific conditions, trying to open up that conversation about mental health and that it is okay to talk about it. And we have a responsibility to each other as men to take care of each other and to open our arms to each other and to build and grow and fucking push all the other bullshit and the nonsense and the noise of the fucking media and fucking all these political shits out of the way to get back to the basics, back to our primal fucking nature.
Yeah. And which is building this, our building a foundation of a circle, a tribe of brothers that believe in the same things and can lean on one another and depend on one another and succeed together. and stop fucking constantly shitting on every other person around them. You know what I mean? So like, that's what we're trying to do, is change the culture, man, and really bring back what it means to be a masculine man and not be ashamed of it.